to AC 24/7. I'm Rachel Smith. Topping news today, Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville is backing off his comments defending white nationalists. Tuberville finally condemned white nationalists as racists, but only after reporters cornered him at the U.S. Capitol on the subject. Until then, he had declined to describe white nationalists as racists. Here's a reporter's exchange.
Can you explain why you continue to insist that white nationalists are American?
Listen, I'm totally against racism. And if the Democrats want to say that white nationalists are racist, I'm totally against that too.
But that's not a Democratic definition. The definition of a white nationalist
well, that's
is someone...
your definition. My definition is
the
racism
definition.
bad.
Next
question.
The definition is that the belief that the white race is superior to all other races.
Totally out of the question.
So do you believe that white nationalists are racist?
Yes, if that's what a racist is, yes. Thank you.
But that is the definition.
You know, I think the American people know that one of the great threats to our national security right now is white supremacy, violent extremists, whatever they're called and whatever they call themselves. We need to be mindful of the threat, and I'm hoping that we will have bipartisan consensus, at least on protecting our national security from white supremacists and extreme violence.
Last night, given another chance to clear the air, he suggested that no, white nationalists aren't inherently racist, that yes, white nationalism is American, and that the definition of white nationalism is a matter of opinion. It's hard to believe that the senator from Alabama has to be corrected again. The senator from Alabama is wrong, wrong, wrong. The definition of white nationalism is not a matter of opinion. White nationalism, the ideology that one race is inherently superior to others, that people of color should be segregated, subjected, and relegated to second-class citizenship, is racist down to its rotten core.
White supremacy is simply unacceptable in the military and in our whole country.
Tuberville is under pressure from both parties for blocking confirmation of all senior military officers in protest of a Defense Department policy on abortion. Actor Hill Harper is running for U.S. Senate in Michigan. Now, Harper is best known, you might recall, for his role on ABC's The Good Doctor and for hosting HLN's original primetime series, How It Really Happened. Harper wants to fill the seat for retiring Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow.
They want representation of the people as opposed to lobbyists, as opposed to big dollar donors and backroom deals. And so that's what we want to provide. That's what I want to represent for the folks. But to your point, folks need to look you in the eye and know whether you're genuine or not, and know whether they feel, you know, I've done for years a lot of work in the prison system, fighting against mass incarceration. And people said the same thing about that. They mean, man, you weren't in a gang. You never went to prison. How do you connect with the brothers? And they can feel whether, you know, when you say, I love you and I want to support you, they either know you're telling the truth or not. We want to fight for people's freedoms. We want to fight for economic development and small business. I'm a small business owner in downtown Detroit. I have a great coffee shop in downtown Detroit. And, you know, I've had that for 7 years. And we want to create jobs in communities because we know small business is the engine for that. We also want to make sure we're protecting our water. 21% of the world's surface water supply is here in Michigan. Folks feel very personal about our Great Lakes here, and we want to protect those at all costs. And you know, student loan debt. You know, we want to fight against this last politicized Supreme Court ruling against the president's student loan debt relief. And so those are the types of things we want to do.
Michigan Congresswoman Elisa Slotkin is seen as the frontrunner in the race. According to Harper's campaign website, he's not only identified as an actor, but also a lawyer and a single father. President Biden is changing the federal student loan system. The new income-driven repayment plan is called SAVE, which stands for Saving on a Valuable Education. Under Biden's new plan, borrowers could see monthly bills cut in half. There's also a forgiveness component after a decade of payments. Well, from gas prices to used car sales, customers had a little more breathing room in June. New numbers show the pace of inflation slowed a bit to 3% in June, beating expectations. Now that's down from about 9% last summer. And the Advocate Channel's Karen Kafa shows us how that could impact some top summer purchases.
A cool down to start the summer months.
I think consumers might be breathing something akin to a sigh of relief because the worst of inflation behind.
For the 12th consecutive month, U.S. inflation slowed in June, according to the Consumer Price Index reading released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics Wednesday. Overall, consumer prices increased 3% year over year, the government said, far from a peak of 9.1% last June when prices climbed at their fastest annual rate since November 1981.
So this isn't a much better place, but it's not yet to the promised land of where we want to be. We still see some elevated prices for things that are important.
It's good news for consumers at the grocery store, with overall food prices continuing to moderate and the index for meat, poultry, fish, and eggs falling in June. Energy prices fell. Gasoline prices are down 26% from last year. Airfares dropped too. But shelter costs remain stubbornly high, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics said that accounted for the bulk of the June increase. The overall number, also good news for the Federal Reserve. The jobs report released by the Labor Department last Friday showed a strong but slowing U.S. labor market. The Fed rolled out 10 consecutive rate hikes prior to last month's meeting in an effort to tame inflation. The central bank is expected to raise rates again at the end of the month. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Well, norovirus outbreaks are now surging on cruise ships. According to the CDC, there have been 13 outbreaks of norovirus on cruise ships just so far this year. That's the highest number of outbreaks since 2012. Now, norovirus is highly infectious. It causes inflammation in the stomach and intestines, but most people do fully recover without treatment. Well, for people with sensitive skin or conditions like eczema or psoriasis, the heat and humidity can actually worsen symptoms. And health experts say that some clothing and fabrics can actually irritate skin further. The Advocate Channel's Mandy Gaither has an allergist's advice on what to wear this summer.
If the summer sun is causing your skin to flare up, your wardrobe might need a change-up.
The choices in fabrics and styles really do have an impact, especially if we are someone who already has sensitive skin or deals with chronic rashes.
Dr. Kara Wada with Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center says in the heat and humidity of summer, you want to wear clothing that's smooth in texture and loose fitting.
Choosing something that is cotton or linen that's going to be breathable and also lighter in color is going to help reflect some of that heat so that our skin is able to breathe and stay cooler as well.
She says skin can actually become irritated by sweat, causing it to be inflamed.
Inflammation in our skin is what makes it leakier, it makes it itchier, and that is a large part of the root cause of our sensitive skin and eczema that we may deal with in summer.
Wada says to avoid synthetic fabrics like polyester, nylon, and spandex, which may trap in heat and sweat.
Flowier fabrics are going to be more comfortable. They're going to allow for more airflow and help our skin dry off in those areas that are getting a little bit moist.
And make sure you lock in moisture with a fragrance-free lotion. Wada says even sweaty skin can get dry in the summer. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, a Michigan jury has reached a decision on Aretha Franklin's will and which version is valid. After a 4-year court battle between 3 of her 4 sons, the jury has found that the most recent version from 2014 was valid. The 2010 will was locked in a cabinet and the more detailed and notarized, but the 2014 version was found in a spiral notebook under her sofa cushions. Aretha Franklin passed away in 2018 at the age of 76 from pancreatic cancer. At the time of her death, the estate was valued at $18 million. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for AC 24/7. For more, go to advocatechannel.com and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. For the Advocate Channel today, I'm Rachel Smith. Take care.